Welcome to the Dark Match Podcast. Here's your host, Matt Barger and Pat Carney.
So tell me that you watched TakeOver Chicago 2 this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. What else would I be doing?
I don't know. I thought maybe you
Working.
lived under a rock or
Working.
worked all weekend, which you do.
Yeah, no, it was fun. I actually did work. I fully anticipated watching it at work, but unfortunately those plans kind of fell through, and I was running around like a madman, and I ended up watching it until 5 o'clock in the morning when I finally got home from work. I think I finally got home at like 2:15.
Did you just say madman?
Shut up. I don't want to talk about Fulton. I do not want to talk about Fulton. Move on already. I'm done talking about Fulton. I'm sure he's probably listening to this interview because he stalks me.
I just want to say, madman, that he's still whining like a bitch about those chops that you gave.
Yeah. He's probably not even listening anyway. Wah. So you watched it too?
No, I just asked you if you did, but I didn't watch it. Yes, I watched it.
You
Come
do
on,
that
dude.
crap all the time. I don't know. What'd you think?
Well, I liked every match. I thought the outcomes of all of them were good except one.
Let's not say which one.
Dana Baszler. Oh, I'm sorry.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, sorry. There must be some allergies going around, but
Yeah.
no, I'm a big Nikki Cross fan. I'm not gonna lie, and I just can't. It's like pulling fucking teeth with this Shayna Baszler, dude. Every time she talks, I want to beat my head against the TV or camera. Or not camera, or phone, or anything that I'm watching her on because it's that bad. Who am I to criticize? But God.
I agree with the mic skills. In-ring has gotten a lot better.
She's
from
great. She's a good
when
fighter.
she first started, yes. But you should really, especially with her background, put someone with her. Don't let her talk. She's a badass. You know what? She doesn't need to talk.
No.
She's going to kick the shit out of you in the ring. She doesn't need to talk.
Stop letting her talk.
Yes, get the mic out of her hand.
God.
All she does is repeat herself.
Let us talk for her.
Yeah, I'll go. Shit, put
and
me
then
in
beat
NXT.
and then let her beat my ass
Yeah, put me in a freaking armbar. I don't care. Put me in a headlock. I don't care. Choke me out. But take the mic away from her.
For God's sakes. Just have her be like Sting, where he didn't talk for a year.
Yeah,
and
just
let
beat
her
the
come
shit
out
out of him.
and beat the shit out of people.
100%. Completely agree.
Thank you.
And first match, great. Undisputed Era.
Awesome.
Oni Lurkin and Danny Burch.
Really took them to another level, in my opinion.
We've been saying it since the beginning, though.
But now I think everybody else sees it.
now they're starting to notice.
Yeah.
And we've been saying it since the beginning.
Yeah.
They needed that stage to stand on, and they absolutely did. They came out where the crowd was like, oh, great, and chanting Undisputed Era the whole time.
Yep.
End of the match, standing ovation for them.
Well, they earned it.
Absolutely.
And it was awesome how Undisputed Era let them stay in the ring and get that, too.
Absolutely. No, that was definitely a great move from Kyle O'Reilly and also Roderick Strong, giving them that moment.
Yep.
So 100% couldn't agree with you more. Velveteen Dream and Ricochet. We could just skip that. We don't need to talk about it.
And Velveteen Dream
100%.
ceases to amaze me every time.
Yeah, no, 100%. A funny thing about his Velveteen's ring pants. You know whose pants those are, right? Ricochet's.
What?
Ricochet used to wear those on Independence.
Really?
Yeah, I'll show you the picture. It's crazy.
Oh,
So
that's right. I did notice that he was wearing.
Yeah, he used
those
to wear
were
those.
Ricochet's pants. I thought they looked familiar.
Yeah, I hope he washed them beforehand.
But hopefully he didn't have the pair like Madman Fulton was wearing.
Yeah, shit yourself again, Fulton. So
we'll edit that out so you don't get your ass whooped again.
No. We're gonna leave that in. We're not going to edit that out. No, I hope you shit yourself again. Hope you do it in the ring, and everybody sees this time, and you don't have Sammy to blame it on. But I do have to bring up one other match with one other part that I don't know if you saw. There's a lot of things going on Twitter for it, giving them a lot of heat. Did you watch the NXT Championship match?
I did.
The missed spot? Yep.
Go ahead and talk about it, though.
I'm not going to really talk about it, though. I'm just going to say it was a great match.
Shit happens.
We're
human.
Get off his ass.
We're human.
Everybody, all you internet trolls out there that are saying that he's shit, he's garbage. Lars Sullivan's not shit. He's not garbage.
No.
He's a big guy, but he can perform. He made a mistake. He botched a move. Get off the dude's ass already and move on. It was a mistake.
Yep.
We're not perfect.
Yeah.
Yes, you did it on a large stage, on a large scale. Great. You know what? And he took a kick to the face immediately following it, and he lost the match. It's not like he botched the ending of it.
Yep.
No, he still took two great kicks at the end of the match and took it like a champ.
And you know what those trolls are good at? They're good at sitting behind their computer screens and talking trash and then hiding. That's all they're good at.
And we're probably going to get a bunch of hate for this, but
That's
I don't
fine.
even care.
Haters gonna hate.
Haters going to hate.
Hate us because they ain't us, right?
Well, they can be us
Hate us
anytime.
because they ain't us.
Yeah, well. Oh, my God. So, did you watch Money in the Bank?
Yeah.
Good, we can move on then.
Yeah.
And let's move on to the interview, why we're here. We had an exclusive interview with Canadian superstar C4 champion Kobe Durst, Diamond Tiger Kobe Durst. But it wasn't the first time we tried to sit down with him either. I mean, this was take 2.
Yep.
Needless to say, we don't even have to listen to the first interview because it was literally just over and over
And it was
over.
our fault, not his.
Yes, no, it was 100% our fault.
Technical difficulties.
Yeah. See, we're not perfect either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
We're behind a computer screen, though.
Oh, my God.
Oh,
what
man.
are we going to do?
I guess we're not trolls.
Yeah, I guess not. I'm a huge troll, though. I'm sorry.
Just a Madman Fulton.
Well,
That's under your burner account.
just don't hit me.
I love Fulton.
Just don't hit me. I'm the president of his fan club.
Hashtag just don't
obviously.
hit me.
Yeah, hashtag don't hit me. So our first interview was filled with nothing but nonstop technical difficulties. It wasn't. Oh, shit. Oh my God, we're not perfect.
Yeah, we're not.
No, we're far from it. But
My last name's not Hennig.
no, it's not at all. But you threw me off on that one.
Sorry, but we're not perfect.
We're not perfect. I like that. It took me a second. I was like, oh, Mr. Perfect.
Yes.
Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. But right now, let's get into our exclusive interview with C4 champion Kobe Durst. Kobe Durst interview, take 2, and action. What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Not too much, man. I appreciate you giving us a call back, especially after every single technical difficulty that we had with our first interview. I was convinced you were going to ignore my phone calls, ignore my texts. You weren't going to slide into my DMs anytime soon. So I appreciate you getting back in touch with us and giving us a second chance. But one of the good things that came out of the previous interview is hashtag book Kobe Durst.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get you to the States.
Hopefully you guys can help me get some more American dates up there.
We hope to. So you just had an American date yesterday. You actually had a scramble match. You were up at Freelance in Chicago, which must have been wild, especially with the Chicago crowd, but more importantly with TakeOver and also Money in the Bank being this weekend. I'm sure the crowd had to be ruckus as all get out, even more so than simply just it being Chicago.
Yeah, well, and it was really fun because it was Freelance's 4-year anniversary, so they really went all out with the show. Yeah, like in my scramble match, they had like Hornswoggle as like a surprise entrant, and they had PCO on the show versus Craig Mitchell, and that was nuts. It was a really fun show. And then they added the new champ was crowned, Isaiah Velasquez, so that was good.
Yeah, and PCO, almost everything I saw on Twitter last night for Freelance, everyone was just going off about PCO, this reincarnation of PCO, who is literally just making waves all across independent wrestling.
He's so crazy. He's so good. I'm so excited for because I got the 4-way with him on the 29th.
Shh, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
No, if people follow you, if they don't, I mean, I can only imagine that they follow some of your other competitors within that match, so they're probably already aware of it.
What? Why aren't you guys following me?
Exactly, and that's the purpose of this interview. It's not only hashtag book Kobe Durst, but it's also hashtag get me more followers.
That's right.
For those individuals that don't know who you are the current C4 champion. They probably knew you previously as Marty Michaels. You are the Diamond Tiger. Yeah, I did my research. Don't hate on me. I did my research. So you were formerly known as Marty Michaels. You are now Diamond Tiger Kobe Durst. But for those with aspirations of becoming pro wrestlers and want to get into wrestling school, but feel like they're at a crossroads, don't know where to really turn, that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on, because you actually have a pretty interesting story. And I want to go back to where it all began. First and foremost, where did you grow up?
I grew up in a little town called Madoc, Ontario. It's like probably 3 hours away from Toronto. It has maybe 5,000 people.
So where everybody knows your name, like an episode of Cheers?
Yeah, kind of like that. And then when I kind of started to get into wrestling and I took my grade 10 careers class and I started doing my research, I found out that there was a school in Toronto and my mom would drive me every weekend so that I could train at that school in Toronto, and then I ended up debuting while I was in high school.
What was really your first exposure to wrestling, and was it something that was always available to you, or was it banned at all?
No, I guess I first started watching it when I was like probably 4 years old, and I only watched it a couple times, and then I started doing it to my friends and my parents. They said no more of that. So I didn't really get into wrestling until I was in high school, and they couldn't really censor what I was watching anymore.
Understandable. Now, you were 4 years old. I'm sure you were probably suplexing your friends or dropping
absolutely.
dropping elbow drops off the top of the couch or something like that. And very similar to you, wrestling was actually banned in my household as well. It was like you were grounded if you even turned this on. I remember there was one weekend, I don't know if you remember if it was a little before your time, but back when WCW was still around, there was a show that was on Saturdays that WCW tried to do a cross promotion with. It was called Battle Dome. It was like a weekly TV show, and it's pretty funny. A very well-known actor that was his first exposure on the show, and that's Terry Crews. He's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now. He had that awesome scene with Vanessa Carlton in White Chicks, where now you can't even listen to the song without doing the head bombs and things like that.
And he was the Old Spice guy.
Yeah, the Old Spice guy. That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah. So, but he got his start on Battle Dome, and I remember one Saturday I turned it on, and my parents were really against wrestling, and I just turned it on, and my parents were like, "What are you watching? You need to turn this off now." I'm like, "Mom, I don't even know what the hell I'm watching right now." So it's funny that you had stated that your mom drove you to wrestling school in Toronto, even though wrestling was something that was banned in your household. How long of a drive was that?
Yeah, so it was 3 hours there and back for us. And it was banned in my household as a kid because I guess she really didn't want me to injure myself or other people. But when she saw that I was watching it every single week and I was talking about it more and more consistently, and I started working out and trying to look like the wrestlers and trying to be like the wrestlers. So I think that she kind of saw that I had a passion, and that was something that I probably didn't display much of before then.
Now, who were you first gravitated towards? Who was the first wrestler that kind of got you to say, I want to do this?
I was a big Miz fan.
Ah, nice. Why the Miz?
Yeah, well, I think that, being 14 or 15, and at the time he was teaming with John Morrison, and they were doing the Dirt Sheet, and he was calling himself the Chick Magnet, and he had flashy gimmicks and things like that. So I think it for a 14, 15-year-old kid who's kind of awkward and just trying to fit in with people, I think it was just a relatable character.
Yeah, being someone that obviously standing next to John Morrison, even today, is a phenomenal specimen of a man. I'm completely fine to say that.
He's so shredded.
He's shredded as hell. And then you have this college frat boy that's standing next to him in The Miz that's like, I can pull as many chicks as he can. Not a problem.
That's right.
Who really didn't have the body for it.
Why? He wasn't as built necessarily. People maybe didn't like him as much, but he had that same confidence.
Absolutely. And for a 14-year-old kid that probably was socially awkward or wasn't as shredded as John Morrison, that's kind of who you gravitate towards. It's like, oh, well, he's kind of got the body for it.
Can I just say one thing? You guys make me feel old as hell because you know who my favorite wrestler was growing up? Macho Man Randy Savage. Because I'm old. I mean, I'm 36. So
I wasn't allowed to watch wrestling until I was 13, though.
I know. And I started watching when it was right around WrestleMania 1.
Yeah. You're old as fuck.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I am old as shit.
Yeah.
So
we're at WrestleMania 34. You watched it at WrestleMania 1. So # old as shit.
Yeah. I'll be 37 in December, so # old as shit. I also want to say we could also start # exposure alert.
Exposure alert. I don't even want to get into that or find out what that's for. But
I mean,
please don't expose yourself to me right now.
Not that kind of exposure. I mean, yeah, I do that once in a while, but it's only usually
when
live events. But no, I mean exposure alert for when we have Kobe on or anybody else that we want to expose to the world. Give them exposure.
Thank you for defying that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
For a second, I thought we were going to have
I guess that's a failure for an alert if I have to describe it for a hashtag.
Yes, that really is.
Okay,
it required more thought and more explanation than necessary. You said that you were more of a Miz fan, and you kind of came into it a little bit later on. Now, that time in wrestling, it was more typically the bigger guys. You had guys like Batista. You had guys like Triple H.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think when I started watching it, Mike Adamle was the general manager.
Oh, God, he was terrible. So getting back into it, you're 12, 13 years old. You're in love with wrestling. You dropped hints of wrestling school. Now, you said that you drove 3 hours to wrestling school and back. So how long was training? Were you like only training for like an hour? So you're doing 6 hours of driving, 1 hour of training?
No, it was like three and a half, 4 hours.
Okay, so you were basically dedicating 10 hours of time driving to and then driving home. Did your mom kind of see your...
So I would say that the driving was probably better conditioning for it than anything. Like in wrestling, you drive more than you do anything else. So just getting in the car for 6 hours every weekend was good preparation. Like last night, I did freelance, and then when I finished, I just drove straight home. Like it was an 8-hour drive, and I just drove it.
You're crazy. I would have just stayed.
Yeah.
That's dedication, though. I mean, that's how you know you want something.
Because 8 hours isn't even that much, though. Like when you talk to some of these guys, they're driving like 15, 20 hours.
Yeah. There's some people that are driving down to Mexico just to wrestle a match in a backyard.
Exactly. So
it's not too bad of a drive. It's still I applaud you
that's
for
what you gotta do.
Yeah, to make it in the industry, you got to make sacrifices. So an 8-hour drive to someone would be like, oh well, no, like I'll just fly. To you, it's like, oh well, that's my pay. That's my income. So that's my exposure.
Because I was training so far away from home, it was nice to be able to have to travel so far all the time during high school.
Now, how long were you in training before you had your first match?
I trained for about 8 months. I broke my thumb like a little bit in training, so I had to take like a month or two off. But yeah, 8-9 months I debuted.
Where exactly did you debut?
They ran the show like in my hometown, and that's why they let me debut. I probably wasn't necessarily like ready, or well, I wouldn't say I wasn't ready. Like I think the match is on YouTube somewhere, and it's just like under my real name. But yeah, it was a tag team match. It was me and Brent Banks versus John Greed and at the time Boris Brezhnev, who did like a Russian gimmick up here in Canada. And they were all like fairly experienced, so they were able to kind of guide me through my first match.
And I'm sure I'm sure having those 5,000. You said that you grew up in a small town where probably everyone that walked out there.
I think they drew like 300 at the show though, so it was pretty cool.
So that's good for any event on the Independence. But at that time, you were probably like what, 16 years old?
Yeah, I was 16. Yeah. So
you had your first match at 16 in front of people that probably saw you running around in your front yard in diapers.
Yeah. So it was really cool for me to have that experience.
Were they chanting like things like "you effed up" or?
No, they were really like they were supportive. I wouldn't say they were a traditional wrestling crowd, like where they were very brutal. It was just kind of a small town. Oh, let's go out and see wrestling and support this kid. So that was kind of neat.
You know what would have been great as to like make yourself a heel right then is like to totally do what Bobby Roode did on NXT, where the first time he built the crowd up and had them all cheering for him, and then he was like, "But you guys won't even be here because it's going to be people in suits and stuff."
Oh yeah,
that would like totally just turn on him right at the end after you build it all the way up.
Just
they
like
probably care a lot more about Bobby Roode though.
But yeah,
nobody really cares about an asshole 16-year-old kid.
That they probably grew up watching grow up as well. Went to the Raw after WrestleMania 33 in particular, where Roman Reigns came out. He opened the show after like a 5-minute chant of "Thank you, Taker," since the night before Roman Reigns beat Undertaker, and it was pretty obvious at that time, at least we thought, that Undertaker was retiring. So we chanted "Thank you, Taker" for 5 minutes. Roman Reigns music hits, and it is literally 10 minutes where if the microphone even touched his face, we would boo him mercilessly. We were chanting things like "We want pretzels," "Botchamania," "Go away," "F you, Roman." You could watch it on YouTube. It is the craziest thing. But even as the night progresses on, it was the night where Cesaro actually jumped into the crowd, grabbed a beach ball, and tore it up in front of everybody. Crazy.
Yes, I remember the show.
Oh, man, it was crazy.
Because they lost the belts to the Hardys, right?
Yeah. Well, no, actually, it was the club lost the belts.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
They were trying really hard though in their match, and the audience was really just focused on a beach ball.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. They were. It was a phenomenal. Almost every match that night was actually really good.
That's right. But have you ever just played with a balloon? Have you ever gone to a birthday party and played Keep It Up?
Well, we both have kids under the age of 4, so we play with balloons all the time.
And bubbles. I
There
mean,
you go.
exactly.
You guys get it?
It's fun.
Yes.
So, but when you're trying
guys
to be a master of your craft and everyone is more invested in this beach ball, I understand where he's coming from. It's like, look, we're putting on a hell of a match.
Yep.
We're killing ourselves after a ladder match last night, and you guys don't give two craps. You'd rather watch a beach ball. Get the hell out of here. I'm taking it from you.
Maybe I should get a big beach ball suit, and I should just wrestle.
Wrestle a beach ball? I can see it now.
Wrestle as a beach ball, yeah.
Wrestle as a beach ball or wrestle a beach
I
ball.
could do
Cut a
I could
promo
do
on a
big,
beach
big
ball?
cannonball as a beach ball, like get the guy in the corner and run and jump.
You go underneath the ring, just grab a fan and pretend like it's just blowing in the wind, and that's your finisher.
I've got a name for the
That's
pay-per-view. You could call it Bash at the Beach.
I think that's
Oh,
taken.
shit. They've already used that one.
I think that one's taken and
it's already
trademarked.
taken.
Damn it.
So you're 16 years old. You have your first match in your hometown. Fast forward throughout those years, you get to 18 years old. At that point, it's probably a little bit easier to get booked in the U.S. No one really wants to book a 16-year-old kid that they're afraid they're going to break or something like that. But did you find yourself reaching out to U.S. promotions throughout this time, trying to get booked, or did you find it a little bit easier just kind of venturing around Canada?
No, I didn't really venture out to the U.S. I would say a lot of it was because my parents were very, very worried. Like they always thought that I was going to show up at the border and the border security was going to tear my car apart and lock me up and throw away the key for like having contact solution or something. So they would really put horror stories in my head. So I would just kind of try to get really good in Canada, and I didn't want to expose a subpar product to the U.S. either. Like when I showed up to America, I wanted to have a performance that I could stand behind proudly and say, this is what I'm presenting, and I know that it's good.
Well, why didn't you think you'd be good enough to wrestle in the U.S.?
It takes practice. You gotta like I'm sure some people get the hang of it a lot quicker than others, but I just think that there's a lot of bad wrestling that can happen, and if you practice a lot on the small shows and you do a lot of training and you come up with a performance and a persona that you're comfortable with and that you really feel confident in, I just wanted to roll that out after I really felt good about it.
You kind of come off as a little bit more than a perfectionist, to say the very least, with your craft.
Yeah, I guess I would argue though that like what is a perfect match? Like I don't even think that you could have a perfect match. You could have different moves or whatever. Like there's probably lots of perfect matches. Then if we were to switch it like that, there's probably all sorts of these crazy ideal matches that you would want to have. But it's all like it's all an art. So it's all subjective.
Exactly. I was actually having a conversation the other day. A friend of mine had actually posted that on Facebook, and he just wanted to get a conversation started. He's a huge wrestling fan, and he just posted a video, he just posted a comment, like, "Hey, by your thoughts, what do you feel the best wrestling match of all time is?" And everyone kind of gives their own opinions on it. Now, for myself personally, the best match I've seen in a long time was from a few years ago. It was Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne at TakeOver Chicago. It was actually a year ago, the night before Backlash. I thought that was a phenomenal match, and that was my personal take on it. Now, others said Ricky Steamboat versus
Macho Man, which is what I was literally going to say, but again, I'm old as shit, so...
Exactly. But
Mania 3, I know.
Yeah, so, and that was a fantastic match. Other people say another match that I was in attendance for, the Hardys versus Edge and Christian at No Mercy 99 in the Terry Invitational Tournament, the tag team ladder match. And others will say it was John Cena versus AJ Styles. Others will say Okada versus Omega. And the list goes on and on. Wrestling is all up to interpretation. It's an art form. Now, is all art...
Yeah, I don't think it's something to be perfected.
I agree, and that's
you
what I was
want to
going to
master
get. Yeah.
your craft.
Yep. And you're going to be harder on yourself than others are probably because you want to make sure that you're the best at what you do.
100%.
Of course. Well, and the other thing is because you put in so much time and so much effort into wrestling, and for some people maybe they don't. Maybe they said, well, all I want to do is wrestle on the independent shows, and that's fine. For me, when I started, I had a goal that I wanted to achieve. I wanted to make sure I was doing everything I could to do that.
What is your ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal, well, with wrestling, it would be just to make a living, just to not have to have any other job. I suppose I have other goals outside of wrestling, but concerning wrestling, I would just really like to be able to have a good real wrestling job, not like scraping by eating peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah,
like
to be able to provide for yourself and your family.
Money. Yeah, I don't even know. Like when I was little, obviously you just fantasize about WWE, and obviously that's the biggest company. But for me, it was always just about being really happy with my performances and creating a character and a persona could become large enough to sustain me.
Now, you've definitely made your rounds trying to perfect your craft and find that perfect match, but obviously it's kind of an unattainable goal to have that perfect performance because someone like yourself, even if you have a great match, you still want to top it. If you reach that pinnacle, it's like, why continue? I don't feel I can do better than that, so why keep going? So, Matt, you're a huge sports fan, right?
Huge.
You're constantly listening to sports talk radio, going online, checking the latest rumors, just getting up-to-date information on the world of sports and entertainment, correct?
Always. That's the only way that I can keep up with what's going on.
Yeah, you're talking with your friends. They're talking about a story you don't know anything about, and you're left in the dark, and you sound like an idiot trying to keep up, just making up stories. But is there anything worse than trying to get your sports and entertainment coverage, and more than half of the pages you're clicking on are just ads? They're sending you to spam sites. You try to click the X and accidentally hit another ad. You wind up in the bane of the internet, just going from troll to troll, site to site with no end in sight. That stops now with that'smy216.com. No spam ads, no clickbait, just the content that you're looking for and you love. That'smy216.com has the latest on the Cleveland Browns, Cleveland Cavaliers, Cleveland Indians, and yes, the latest in the world of sports and entertainment and pro wrestling all across the world. You're not going to be upset. I mean, you're going to leave saying that's how the internet should be in the sports world. They're changing the game on how we talk about the game. That's my216.com. Once again, that's my216.com, the exclusive sponsor of the Dark Match podcast. And you've definitely made your waves. I mean, we're going to get our ad revenue in right now. You've been in Alpha 1. You've been in C4. You were just in freelance, but you've been there multiple times previously. You performed in Evolve. You've performed in IPW. You performed in AAW. You performed in Black Label. But what kind of challenges did you find when you finally made that transition from Canada into the U.S.? And what kind of challenges did you run into meeting that crowd that didn't come up to you like, oh, sweetie, are you okay? Like, you did really good tonight, to having that crowd that's like, you effed up. I could go on and on about all the different chants I've heard at independent shows, but what kind of challenges did you yourself find?
Well, Ontario has a lot of really good independent companies, like you said, like there's Alpha 1, the C4. So being able to perform in front of those crowds and actually have those more kind of super indie fans that'll call you out on stuff. That really helped get me prepped. And then when I was ready to go into the States, I would message some of the veterans in my area. I'd message Ethan Page specifically, and he would take me down to different shows and help me get booked on the shows that he was going to. So I really owe a lot to him for that. When you wrestle, you sit down with your veterans or your opponent and you look at what went good, what went bad. But I think that when I really started wrestling in the States, the transition wasn't that bad because I had been wrestling for so long.
But having someone like Ethan Page, who, for those individuals that are listening that really don't know, he's someone that predominantly is known for being someone where his opinion is truly marveled upon in the sport of independent professional wrestling. And he's someone where he doesn't really put his stamp of approval on everyone or anyone in particular. He's very meticulous about what he does, where he wrestles, who he wrestles, and more importantly, who he helps bring along with him. What kind of steps did you take to make sure that Ethan Page was kind of your mentor?
You know what? I at the end of the day, I think he could just see that I was trying my absolute hardest. He would see me when I was like 17, 18 years old and struggling, as Marty Michaels. And I think he saw the transition to Kobe Durst, and he saw me starting to get bigger and bigger, as I was working out. He saw my matches starting to get better. And then his tag team partner, Josh Alexander, I think was the one who actually liked me at first. And he just said to Ethan, he said that he wanted to have a match with me. So Ethan booked me, he has the Alpha One promotion, so he booked me in Beta Pro, which was just like a small show that he did beforehand, just to try out some younger talent. And I guess I performed pretty good on the Beta Pro shows, and eventually put me on the Alpha One, and it grew from there.
Yeah, it definitely grew from there, because in 2016, you actually won the Alpha One King of Hearts tournament.
Yeah, well, and for a very long time in Alpha One, I was undefeated.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a fake sport, but it was a cool story to be running.
And even though it's fake, I mean, it goes to show that hard work is something that's valued upon. Now,
absolutely, it really shows that the company's putting stock in you.
Yep,
absolutely. That was my next point.
Shows your value in the company,
and people want to go there. They want to see you win, and if people are paying that kind of money to come out, they want to see you pull out a victory. They don't want to.
Absolutely.
They don't want to work 60 hours a week to afford not only their bills, but also the fun that comes behind it. And that, of course, being an Alpha One ticket, they want to go. They want to see Kobe Durst, but they want to see Kobe Durst win. Going to the show and you're on a win streak, it definitely shows value. You win this tournament, but even from there, you've kind of taken that ball and kind of ran with it. You've held multiple different titles, which we'll get to here in a second, but you've also wrestled some very well-known names. I mean, you had mentioned already Ethan Page and Josh Alexander, but you've also had
Simon Grimm, Cole Cabana,
Bad Boy Joey Janela, ACH, Ricky Shane Page as well. I know you have a personal beef right now with Ricky Shane Page.
Yeah, well, he's got my belt.
He does. And you had it, for those individuals that don't know, you were actually one of the longest reigning Alpha One champions of all time.
I was the longest reigning, yes.
So he's got your baby. You held that title for over a year, I believe 450 plus days or something along those lines?
Yeah.
So, although you've wrestled him, you're not a fan of him right now.
No. Kobe Durst doesn't like Ricky Shane Page a whole bunch.
Well, we'll get to that opportunity that you'll have here in a few moments, but you are the current C4 champion, and you have quite a challenge. I mean, when we started this interview, you brought up someone in particular, but you got to watch them wrestle last night, but in just a few weeks, you have to wrestle them, and that, of course, being when you are defending your C4 championship. In quite a match, I'm not going to lie. You have Teddy Hart, Bad Boy Joey Janela, and PCO in a fatal four-way match. In a match, unfortunately for yourself, there is no champion's advantage. A pinfall is a pinfall. No. You do not have to be pinned to lose this title. Is it an elimination match?
No, I don't think it's elimination. I think it's one fall, and I just think that because the last C4 show. We had a four-way as well with me, Josh Alexander, Matt Angel, and Eli Everfly. And that was one fall. So I'd imagine this will be the same.
Well, let's hope that it comes out for the same results. But if you need a little advice from someone that doesn't do it, can offer a little bit of advice. Well, with Bad Boy Joey Janela, just get him extremely drunk, give him a carton of cigarettes, and he'll be good to go.
Sure.
PCO, I saw a video where he shoved a nail through his nose.
Dude, he's out of his mind.
He is insane. So you need to take out Joey Janela, you need to take out PCO. Those are the two people that you take care of, and then it's just you versus Teddy Hart. And
that'll be good.
I'm trying for the best in this case. I mean, Bad Boy Joey Janela, he's a bad boy, but he also enjoys some death matches. So he's a crazy dude.
Right.
And I would die if I even tried partying with him. It'd be a hell of a way to go out, but I would love to party.
Well, and the last C4 show, they had just debuted their new venue, so it'll be really cool to come back for the second show ever at this new venue and to be able to main event in such a crazy match. That's going to be nuts.
Absolutely, and for those individuals that want to see it, That is available on Powerbomb TV as well. If you don't have a Powerbomb TV subscription, subscribe now. We'll go over where you can find that here at the end of the video. But that's only challenge number 1. You have an additional challenge at the Purge pay-per-view. The Purge event, I apologize, not pay-per-view. So you have a huge opportunity at the Purge event. You have an opening match against Austin Theory, but the winner of that tournament actually goes on to face Ricky Shane Page for your title that you missed.
Yeah, so I think they haven't run the tournament like this before, where it's always been the winner gets a shot at the champion later on, but this is the first time that the winner of the tournament is the champion. So that'll be really it'll be really cool to be able to take part in the first King of Hearts like that. But to have Austin Theory in the opening round match, that's gonna be very tough just to get to the second round.
Yeah, absolutely. So I know that you had an 8-hour drive last night. You're just coming back from Chicago. You're coming back from freelance wrestling. A lot of things coming soon. Now, we have 2 additional questions for you, so we're almost done. My first question for you, what's next for Kobe Durst? After you successfully defend, that is, your current C4 championship against Teddy Hart, Joey Janela, and PCO, and then obviously win back your Alpha 1 championship title, and you are just reigning in gold all over again. What's next for Kobe Durst after that?
Well, I guess I got 2 things that I'm kind of working on right now. One is I have one student who I'm working on getting him ready to debut very soon. And then next for me would be to hopefully get some American championships.
# book Kobe Durst. So if we got any promoters or anyone that has affiliations or any wrestlers or anyone that you want to see Kobe Durst, he is a phenomenal talent. I don't like kissing people's asses, but Kobe Durst is definitely a phenomenal talent. So, and he'd be a pleasure to be on your show. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of want to party with him, so let's get him to this area so we can party together. But we have one more question.
Here we come.
Yeah, come down to Cleveland, man. It's a grand time.
Yes,
I tell every single person that's in town, you have to tell people that this place sucks because it's a hidden gem that we want to save for ourselves.
Yeah.
But
okay.
And it's the home of The Miz, your favorite wrestler. So
I mean, we can have an entire show about wrestlers that came out of Cleveland.
Say a good thing about Cleveland again if you don't want me to.
you can bad talk it all you want. We'll keep it for ourselves. But I mean, we got The Miz, we got Dolph Ziggler,
Johnny Gargano.
You stole that one from me.
Yes,
that was
I did.
mine. Oh man.
But also another thing I want to say is we've got a lot of great wrestling promotions here too. So
use the # book Kobe Durst. But I know my co-host, he has a particular question that we ask every single guest.
Ribs are kind of a big thing in the industry. Do you have a good rib story?
And I'm going to premise this. I don't know if did you listen to our interview with Madman Fulton yet?
No, I didn't listen.
What the hell? I've been watching your wrestling matches.
I've been like literally listening to everything, watching everything. Going through YouTube, watching every Kobe Durst match I can possibly find, doing as much research.
Yeah, I did more homework on him than I did in any class in high school. Ever.
In high school, and he can't even listen to our interview. No. I will give you the benefit of the doubt because I do like you, and you return my texts and you return my messages. So we're going to end this interview, but you're going to listen to my interview, and I want your truthful opinions on this. But if you didn't listen, Madman Fulton had a great rib story.
Yep.
A great rib story it's gonna be hard to top.
Yep.
So you now have the floor. I need your best rib story right now.
My best rib story.
No pressure.
All right. I guess I'll set the scene here. It's probably RibFest 2013. All right.
I feel like there
really
needs to be like an 80s
day.
like porn song behind this right now, just building it up.
RibFest 2013, I was really excited. I was hungry. I was hankering for some ribs. So I marched down to the skate park. That's where they were holding the RibFest, and I got in line. I had my paper plate. I had my silverware, my plastic silverware, and I got in line. And let me tell you, they were baby back ribs. They were baby back ribs, and they put them right on my plate. And they were some of the best ribs. RibFest 2013.
You're ribbing us, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. It's about ribs. Do you get it?
That was a great rib right there. That was a great rib. I'm like, I hope to God he's going somewhere with this. Ribbed us.
I got my hopes up. I heard Rib Fest
I'm
2013. I'm like, we're gonna get multiple stories from the whole year of 2013.
Put like a rib, like he put like a baby back rib and like someone's singlet or something. Like no,
I thought you
he's
guys
literally
were gonna
just
catch on
ribbing
a
us.
lot sooner.
Well, you'd be surprised some of the stories
we
that
did,
we
but
hear.
we want to give you the floor so that way you could do your whole.
I thought you guys would catch on as soon as I said Rib Fest.
I'm not gonna. Well, you don't know where wrestling matches take place. I mean, they've been at some crazy things. They've been in auto body shops and in catering parking lots. The list goes on and on. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Here's the actual one.
Okay, I was gonna give you the benefit. I was like, we should just end on that because you ribbed us pretty well.
Here we go.
Yeah, no, we on one of my first road trips that I was ever doing. It was a rib, but it wasn't even really to the wrestlers. So what happened was we stopped to fill up at a gas station, and somebody leaned against our car while they had a smoke break. No, they weren't being ignorant or anything. They just happened to lean against it. And one of the guys that we were traveling with, he doesn't wrestle anymore, but he got very upset. So he dove into the roof of this person's car, like they had the sunroof open, smeared his yogurt all over their windshield, and took their iPod. So he stole their iPod out of their car, and we got in our car, and we drove away. And we had dinner and whatever, because we were driving home from the show. So we opened his iPod. It wasn't locked. And these guys have song lyrics and whatever, and they're advertising they're a band, and they're playing some show in Toronto. So they were coming from Montreal, and we were coming from Ottawa. And if you guys know Canadian geography, that'll all make sense.
Not really.
I don't really even know much U.S. geography.
No, I know
sorry.
you don't. Anyway, so Ottawa and Montreal are close together, and then going to Toronto, we were all going to Toronto. So then we ended up actually returning this person's iPod to them at their concert later on that night. It was kind of funny. So that was probably the weirdest kind of rib that had happened.
That guy was probably freaking out because he had all of his lyrics on there. He's probably like, shit.
They were so baffled, I guess, when the iPod was returned, because they had no idea that it was even stolen. They just knew that they had lost it.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
And then to hunt them down at this concert and be like, hey, so we jumped into your sunroof at this gas station 4 hours away from here, and then we came and found you at your concert to return your iPod.
That's probably the nicest rib I've ever heard. Like the most.
Well, we're Canadian, right? That's what.
Oh, good point. Good point.
Hashtag Canadian rib right there.
Yeah.
Well, Kobe, we're going to let you go. I know you had an 8-hour drive back from freelance last night. You're back up in Canada.
Yeah.
We hope to see you in Cleveland soon. If not for a wrestling show, just come down here. We'll throw you on one. We'll just take you to one. We'll have a grand old time. But if you don't.
Yeah, I'll just enter in. Just show up.
And
just
Patrick was looking
Open
forward.
challenge.
Patrick was looking forward to getting beat up by another wrestler.
Shut up, dude. That's not going to happen again.
Make
But
sure you listen to that episode so you understand what we're talking about.
Because otherwise you have no idea what the hell we're talking about. But if you want to follow along with Kobe's journey, you want to find out exactly where to find him, he is on Instagram. You can find him at Kobe Durst, just like Kobe Bryant. Kobe Durst, Durst. You need to get a shirt made. I'm not going to... I'll send you an idea that I have.
Shirts. I do have shirts.
No. But what I'm saying is you need to have a shirt made where it's just like a figure, like shooting a basket, and underneath it just says Kobe, but it's just the outline of you like doing like a stage dive into a wrestling ring, as opposed to like someone like shooting like a piece of paper into like a trash can.
Diving through a basketball hoop.
Yeah, you're like diving like out of the ring or something, and it's just somebody shooting it, and it says Kobe.
That's about as bad of an idea as the one I had earlier. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, you're such a dick.
That I would never buy that shirt. It makes no sense.
I'd wear it because I wore it. And I made it, and I thought of it, and I'm going to wear it.
You'd be the only one that would wear that shirt
That's
besides
fine.
Kobe,
and I would be proud as
shirt.
shit over it. I would be proud as shit, and Kobe would probably wear it only when he's around me, kind of like whenever your grandma buys you something, it's like, oh, well, you have to wear it because grandma's coming over.
You got to put on that sweater, make her happy.
Yeah, but don't make that shirt, Kobe.
You're going to make it. I'll make it for him. But you can find him on Twitter as well.
For me, I'll sell it.
You'll profit off of my idea. Oh, man, I feel like I'm in WWE. All right, so you can find him on Twitter at Kobe Durst. That's Kobe Durst, Durst. You're on Facebook as well?
Yeah, and it's the same spelling there.
Yeah, and Obviously, you're also on YouTube, even though you don't watch a whole lot of things on YouTube, like the Dark Match podcast. But hey, after this interview, I expect a full report after you listen to our previous episodes, get brought up to speed. You actually had a name drop in a previous episode that we had as well. So you definitely want to listen to that. But Kobe Durst, ladies and gentlemen, Diamond Tiger Kobe Durst.
So what'd you think? I mean, I felt like it was an amazing interview. We have now hashtag Canadian rib. I mean,
Canadian rib as well.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of hungry for some ribs.
I'm really hungry. I haven't eaten all day.
Yeah.
Let's kind of get things moving right now. Now we normally do the 3 count right now.
Or we do you getting your ass beat by a wrestler.
Shut up.
Oh, did I bring that up again?
Yes, you did. You did. Again, we're going to do a new segment here today, and it's a exclusive, and this segment is called Love 'em or Leave 'em. All right, so the way that this segment works is we're just going to draw some random names out of a hat. They are current WWE superstars. We pull that name out of the hat, and we just determine, do we push them or do we get rid of them? So we're going to start off with number 1, and who do we have here? Primo and Epico.
I mean, job security on one hand, but in my opinion, I'd say leave them.
I would completely agree. Unless you're bringing back Carlito, putting them together, I mean, how many...
Please bring back Carlito.
Please.
That's that way I can wear my Apple shirt again.
I completely agree. I completely agree. But
I spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
You sounded like Razor Ramon more than you did Carlito. But great point here. If you look at all of their personas that they've had the last couple of years, I mean, they've been those like timeshare people. Los Matadores,
which had a good push.
I'm sorry, but the bull was more over than they were.
The bull was more over, but yeah, the ones where
El
they
Torito
were, yeah, the ones where they were
more than they
the
were.
one where they were trying to sell timeshare was just horrible.
It was absolutely terrible. So I would agree. Leave him.
Leave him.
All right, next name, Ty Dillinger. I pulled out 2. I'm sorry, Ty Dillinger.
That's a hard one because I feel like he's got the potential if given the time. I'm gonna say love him.
I'm gonna say leave him.
Damn.
And here's why. I feel he could be so much better elsewhere. They don't let him on TV because they feel that his current persona and his current chant is obnoxious and annoying. The 10 chants, because they already have the yes chants. So you're not letting this guy on TV who's literally been in independence for years and years and years.
Second try through WWE.
Exactly. And you don't have him on TV because his persona is annoying or obnoxious or you don't agree with it. Leave him. Let him be good somewhere else. All right, you pick the next one. Who we got?
Here we go. I got one here. Sasha Banks.
Ooh, I know we talked about this already. Oh, man. I'll let you start off since you picked that one.
Leave him.
Leave him.
Yes, dude. Put the strap on her if you're going to make her stay. If you're going to let her stay. Don't keep giving her the belt for 1 day, 6 days, whatever. Take the belt away from her. I just don't. I'm sick of her and Bailey fighting.
Really?
Dude, it's the same thing over and over again. Like, they fight. Oh, they're friends 1 week. Oh, they're not friends the next week. It's like me and you, dude.
Yeah, I hated you earlier today.
I know, and now we're best friends again.
Yeah,
we're going to hug it out at the end.
Oh, yeah. No, because you misread an email like you always do, but I misread your text all the time.
Yeah, well,
so
when you only read kind of 3 out of the 15 words, that's what kind of happens.
It's kind of like that old, what was it, from the show Key and Peele, where they do the text message misinterpretation, where he thinks like he's reading it one way, he thinks he's reading it the other way. He shows up at the bar like all ready to go, and then he shows up like, I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Angry.
Yeah, it's like, you brought that from my Jackie Robinson post-apocalyptic costume for Halloween. How did you know? He's like, oh, I was just gonna kill you with it. All right, let's pick another one.
What do you think about Sasha?
I love her, but I think you changed my mind. I think
they're not using her right.
Well, they're not using anybody right.
No, they're not.
So there's a select few that they're actually using correctly.
Yeah.
So I have to agree with you. I think you kind of changed my mind there. Now, I'll pick the next one. Oh, my favorite, Drew McIntyre.
Love him.
Love him. Although I would love to see him back in ICW again. You know me personally. Even when we first met, one of the things I talked about constantly was ICW and Progress.
Yeah.
Even before the UK Championship tournament started, I was a huge Bruiserweight Pete Dunne fan.
Yep.
Still am to this day. I love the Bruiserweight.
He's huge.
He's huge. I have to say that I think you love him. You continue with the push that he had when he was in NXT. You put the strap on him. He's great on the mic. He's great in the ring. Why not love him?
I love him and Ziggler together, too. I think that those two
I think they want to separate them, though. Revision to this, I think we saw the first glimpse of that last night, going back to our previously recorded interview. So I think you're going to see sooner than later them breaking them up or one of the two getting a title run.
Well, I think you keep them together for a little bit longer and you let them beat the shit out of each other afterwards and make a huge rivalry out of it.
I would love to see Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre. I have to give you that one. So
I got another one. I'm ready.
I'm not even going to put one onto there. I'm going to give you one right now. Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, dude. Love him. Personally, went to college with him. Personally, wrestled in youth wrestling, and he used to compete against my dad's team. And I feel like in the near future, they're going to put a strap on him. I'm not sure which, maybe a white one, maybe, but I feel like he's going to get a belt soon.
I would have to agree with you, but it would have to be the right championship. I don't see him holding the Universal Championship, but maybe he's going to hold... I could see a feud between Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship.
Why not?
I think that'd be a great feud.
Yep.
But obviously he's going to have to drop it to Seth Rollins, but I would love to see Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins, too.
That would be a good match.
Yeah.
But I can see Dolph beating Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins is going to be soon going after the Universal Championship again.
And correction to this interview as well, with last night, I guess we were kind of right in our predictions. Now back to our previously recorded interview. And you got to admit, more than anything, he needs that push.
All right, last one. Ready?
Okay, last one.
Authors of Pain.
Leave him.
Dude, leave them. I forgot they were on the roster.
Oh, really? Like the Revival?
They're the biggest fucking guys in the room, and yet you don't even know they're there. Okay, second biggest next to Braun.
Yes. And who has a phenomenal push now that he's Mr. Monster in the Bank.
Monster in the Bank.
But, I mean, look at all the tag teams that you have. You have Sheamus and Cesaro on SmackDown. You haven't even seen them.
What's the curse with tag teams from NXT that were champions just getting shit on the main roster?
We haven't even seen Sanity yet.
Exactly.
We haven't seen Sanity. We haven't seen anything of
Vaudevillains.
Sheamus and Cesaro.
Think about what was the ones that the vaudeville? No, who was it? Connor and
The Ascension.
The Ascension.
Yeah, shit.
I mean, dude, they're like
they're the biggest thing in NXT.
Actually the ones that are in charge of catering now, aren't they?
They have to be. I mean, they have to get paid somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a huge push going with them with Breezango.
Yep.
What came of it?
Nothing. They had some funny clips though.
They had some funny clips, but what happened in the ring?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Shit on.
Go somewhere else. Make a living.
They were huge in NXT.
Huge.
Nobody could beat Ascension.
No.
Now nobody can see them.
And what did they have to do to beat the Ascension? They had to bring in Finn Balor and Hideo Itami.
Yep.
That's how you beat the Ascension?
Yeah.
But now...
Okay, I got one more.
Frickin' Nicholas.
You just mentioned him. One more. Who? Hideo Itami. Love him or leave him?
Leave him. Go back to Japan.
Dude, he was just one of the biggest superstars in Japan before he got here. And now... couple injuries later, he's on the Cruiserweight, 205 Live, and like they're doing nothing with him. And he's gonna get stuck there, dude. It's not like the Cruiserweights of
Everyone's gonna get stuck there.
where you're a Rey Mysterio and an Eddie Guerrero and you can work.
Let me ask you one question. You have a great feud going with Cedric Alexander and Buddy Murphy. They had a phenomenal match on 205 Live.
Do they have anything on the pay-per-view?
Hell no.
Not even mentioned.
Here's my question. They're exclusive to Raw. When was the last time you saw a Cruiserweight on Raw before Enzo Amore? Since Enzo Amore.
You haven't. Because
exactly.
they're
so
not
why
on
are they
Raw
exclusive?
anymore.
Why are they exclusive to Raw when they go on after
so you
SmackDown?
didn't read the fine print. They're exclusive to catering on Raw. That's what it is.
Oh, okay. So they can just eat the food in the arena.
Yeah, and then...
Hey, you have to be here, but you're not going to compete here.
Yeah.
But hey, have fun driving here.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
It is.
That's going to do it for our show here today. We want to thank all of you for listening in with our interview with Kobe Durst. Be sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts. One thing I do want to mention, I am in the works right now. It was brought to my attention, and I have to give it to Apple Podcasts as well. Customer support, they have been more than helpful. It was brought to our attention that it's actually pulling from our YouTube account when it should have been pulling from our SoundCloud account.
Oh.
So the problem is when you go to Apple Podcasts right now, you pull up our account, you go to watch our video, you go to listen to our podcast, it's set up as a video.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I wondered why that
says
says
video.
video.
So if you back out of it, it stops it. most obnoxious thing for me because I want to do other things on my phone. I back out of it. I'm not listening to our interview anymore.
That's stupid.
And it's absolutely aggravating. It has been taken care of. I don't know if it's been settled since this interview has dropped, but be sure to subscribe to this video if you haven't already. Follow us on Instagram. We are the Dark Match Podcast. On Twitter, we are Dark Match PC. Follow us on Facebook as well.
The Dark Match Podcast.
Yep. You can find us anywhere that this podcast goes. We want to thank all of you for tuning in.
Also, don't forget, we do have that second part of Simon Gotch interview that could be dropping at any time.
Exactly.
Anytime.
So stick around with the Dark Match Podcast. Thank you for tuning in this week. We'll see you next week. Later.
Peace.